How's it, people? It is Sunday the 14th of July 2019, which means today is exactly 2 years since I got the keys for that house, and I sat here filming on this very camera with that very tripod and possibly even on this very chair the first video that I did, and that was the cottage #1. Now, I put myself on record on that video saying that my aim was to complete this property within 1 year. I kind of knew at the time that that was a little bit ambitious, but I like to push myself because I find you get a bit further a bit faster. The realistic worst case scenario in my head at the time was about 18 months, which meant spring 2019 this would be done, finished, on the market, ready for sale, and I'd be on to the next adventure. Obviously that didn't happen because I'm still here and it's half done, which is absolutely cool. Now, some people will say that's a failure. I don't look at it like that. I think having goals is hugely important, and where I learnt this is when I was in rehab in 2010. They get all the groups sit down and everyone writes down their goals and says, you know, what they're going to do over the next year. So for me, I said, within the next year, I'm going to start a nationally successful company, and I'm going to train for, compete and win a cage fight, at which time I'd not really done hardly any training. And the whole room just went, there's about 20 people there, including counsellors, and the whole room just went, whoa, little bit mental there. None of that's actually achievable or possible. So just to prove a point, I did it. I did both of them. I had Blackdown Shepherd Huts, and in September the following year, this would have been October, November, I won a cage fight. Technically it was a K1 fight in a boxing ring, but come on. But yeah, and I won it, and you know, if I hadn't have had those goals, possibly I wouldn't have achieved them. Now, I speak to lots of people who say our goals is a waste of time and they prefer to just go through life and, you know, what happens happens. That's absolutely fine. That's down to them. Those people, if you're watching now, you just will switch off because there'll be nothing here for you. For anyone else who likes to achieve stuff, keep watching. So for me, having a goal, it's like having a destination when you get in a car. So for me, if I get in a car and I want to go somewhere, I like to know where it is I'm going. Because if I didn't know where I was going, alright, there's a small, very small chance I might get there. There's also a much bigger chance that I just end up driving around in circles in Tesco's car park, because you don't know where you're going. If you don't know where you're going, you don't know when to turn left or right. You don't know when a hurdle comes up, or a challenge, or a problem, or an opportunity, which way best to address it. What I've learned in life is much like this place. I had my goal, I had my destination, and I drove towards that. And along the way, challenges come up. And actually, it's kind of like if you're driving along and there's a roadblock, and you go, okay, there's a roadblock. I can't go that way. I can't go the most direct route I was trying to get to my destination. So I make the most of it. I go around it, and I choose the next most suitable way. And actually, sometimes you get to see a beautiful bit of countryside, or you might discover an amazing little country inn, or like this place, new ideas come up, new things evolve, you meet new people. For example, I started doing these videos and I thought it's just going to literally be a diary for the house. So it's it's like a catalogue that goes with the house, just showing all the history, because it hasn't got any history, this house. I thought in 100 years time someone can look back at what's happened, why it's been done, who did it, why certain things are there, and I just thought that'd be phenomenal little archive. What's happened is I have produced, I think I'm on 98 videos of the cottage. This will be the 9th video for new series Motivation Through Adversity. I've actually been contacted by a number of companies. I just did my first set of, it'll be 9 videos, for 10 actually, probably 10 videos for another company to help them with their marketing, and other things are coming from it. So with goals, I believe the most important thing is to not undersell yourself. set things that are ambitious. If your goals aren't scaring you, then they're not big enough, definitely. That's number one. Number two, always write it down. Sounds trivial, but there's so much power in writing stuff down. I prefer to write things down by hand. Number three, always put a date on it. That is absolutely critical, because the date can be moved. Like with this place, my new goal is December this year. I know it is quite achievable to have that all done, finished, signed, sealed, absolutely done. I can hop on an airplane, go somewhere lovely, happy days. In reality, I've got to raise £120,000 to do that. Will that happen? Not sure yet, but I'll try my best because I've got that goal. So if you don't make the timeline, that's fine, because you can just extend the timeline. But if you have that there, then it gives you something to aim for, it gives you a meaning, it gives you purpose, and it gives you that destination. So another goal that I had was, it's about within the year after I left rehab, when I was working at Blackdown. We were just starting the company off. So I set myself a reasonably ambitious goal. Keep in mind, I had nothing. I left rehab with, well, I had enough money to pay a month's rent in my flat. That was it. Nothing else. So at this time, I set a goal and I wrote it down and I put a date on it, and the date was the 2nd of February 2017, which is my 35th birthday. I said by that time I want to be a cash millionaire. Now that's not £1 million in equity sat in a house or a business or whatever else. That was £1 million in cash in my bank by the time I was 35. So the years rolled on, things happened, things changed, things developed, I learnt stuff, I pushed myself and blah blah blah. Got to my 35th birthday. So I stopped. I went, oh yeah, I had that goal, didn't I? How did I do? Well, I didn't make it. I didn't have £1 million in cash. And actually, by that time, I'd learnt that money isn't that important. It's fairly much a necessity in today's life, but it's not the be all and end all, and it certainly does not buy happiness. I learnt there was a lot more to life, and actually on my 35th birthday I didn't really give a toss about any of that, because I was parked up in a surf camp in Bali with a load of really cool people. I didn't have a job or a business per se, because I kind of sold up everything, and I was just on a fairly kind of permanent-ish holiday without a care in the world, absolutely loving life. Would I have got to that place though if I didn't have that goal? Probably not. Because in the first few years I wouldn't have had that drive. I was like constant drive, save, earn, learn. And I had to go to that place to discover that actually this isn't the be all and end all. And actually I'm better off kind of taking a few steps back and removing myself from it. So you could look at that as a failure, or in my case I looked at that as a massive, absolutely huge success. Would I have had it if I hadn't set the goal? I don't reckon. Anyway, hope that's of value to someone. Feel free to get in touch, and see you soon. Bye.